A very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kabir. It's a pleasure to have you on this Maandamano Tuesday. There's a lot of tear gas in the CBD, in Mombasa, in Kitengela. People are outside. We'll have this conversation as people are protesting about what is happening in the country. Of course, the conversation for today is Ruto must go. Will he go? I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora, political analyst, commentator, strategist, communication expert, university lecturer, all these titles. But how are you doing this particular day?
I'm doing well. Happy to be alive.
Happy to be alive. I think that is also what Gen Zs are saying, just happy to be alive.
Yes.
Ruto must go. The conversation started with finance bill, went to dissolve cabinet. Ruto has been giving in slowly and slowly. And now there was supposed to be a multi-sectoral conversation to talk about dialogue in this country. But everyone is saying, enough of talk. Ruto must go. Do you envision a situation where Ruto will actually resign? Because it seems like everyone wants him, especially Gen Zs, to leave State House.
You know, let us start with what we know and what is the law. An election will be held in 2027. During that time, Ruto can either win another term or he can be sent packing by Kenyan voters. What else do we know? We know that the Constitution provides for an impeachment. So before 2027, Parliament, to mean National Assembly and Senate, can impeach the president, have him tried at the Senate, and he goes home. Number three, presidents also leave, and the prime ministers, when there is a crisis they can't handle. Some of them resign. And number four, civil strife can get to a point where, whether you like it or not, you find you have to run away, sometimes even physically running away. People have flown out of their countries on helicopters from the palace. Argentina is an example, and places, I think Argentina, whatever. You can run away. You know, Sri Lanka, you can actually physically run away. And then you can go on and on. They can be worse. So all these things are possible. So if you say whether Ruto can resign or go, you must understand within that matrix.
There's a possibility of
all
any
these
of
things are not just possible, they have happened elsewhere.
What is keeping this momentum, this fire? 3 weeks, you know, when we saw, I think, protests last week on Tuesday thereabout, it wasn't as if it's fizzling down. But then you look at today, it's coming back again. Do you believe in this Ford Foundation too? Ruto saying that there is NGO funding.
I don't know.
What is keeping this momentum?
I have no idea. I know a number of things. First of all, this is a revolution. If you are looking for it in any other way, you are lost. It is a revolution. A revolution is not necessarily what people know a revolution to be. A revolution can be a drastic change in the way people look at things. Mapinduzi ya mawazo na fikra. People begin to look at the world differently, and therefore things must now be done. That is the kind of revolution I am seeing. There was a revolution that was coming. The sort of violent revolutions. It was coming in Kenya. This, in fact, is God-sent. Is a bloodless revolution.
Despite the deaths?
No, I'm not looking at it in terms of that. I'm looking at it in terms of revolution that are destructive, they remove people from office, and there's a lot of destruction, and you go back to factory settings. Sometimes it takes you years to get footing again. That has been forestalled by this revolution, this Gen Z revolution. So because it's a revolution, people looking at it in terms of the physical presence or absence of demonstrators are missing the point. You get it? So that explains why you cannot judge it merely by how many people are in the streets or the absence of people in the streets. You'll be missing the point. Secondly, when you talk about Ford Foundation, I don't even know what Ford Foundation do. I just hear. And they engage in all manner of things because I never respect these things. I've never seen any benefit from these organizations.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer in them.
NGOs.
They're just busybodies. In the past, they used to even be spy arrange, these arrangements of people spying on other countries and what, and, perpetuating some ideological, But what I know is this. something of this magnitude will be attractive to many other players. The Gen Z revolution, I firmly believe, is very organic. Nobody organized for it. There is nobody leading it. Nobody's funding it. It is just organic. However, something like this must be attractive to certain people. So, a politician seeing this can see it as a moment, as an opportunity to exploit. So I will not be surprised if there are people who now will get into this movement for their own ends. You may call their ends selfish, but everything is selfish in this world. Everything politicians do is selfish. So politicians could exploit this situation, try and run away with it and get capital out of it. In fact, Raila has just seen it's not possible. There are people waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Not just local they could also be international players who might want to take advantage of the situation. So what I will be surprised is if a situation of this nature will fail to attract people wanting to take advantage of the situation. That I'll be surprised.
So what is the best way to handle the situation? President Ruto is calling out Ford Foundation on top of his vehicle, saying wacheni kuleta anarchy in Kenya. What is the best way of handling it if he knows? Is there something that he can do? Because it seems he's giving in to demands, but the fire is still on people's belly.
I'll just go back where I was. I'm doing another last word. I'm doing a video, I think, tomorrow. Another last word to Ruto. And I've said this. This situation is manageable. We can contain it. Ruto's presidency is not under any threat. Ruto's re-election is still possible. But there are things he must do and things he must not do. Without preempting what I will say, I just repeat what I've said in the past.
Yeah.
To appreciate this is a serious situation. To appreciate the magnitude of the problem and the challenges he's facing and the country is facing, number one. Once you appreciate the challenges, the magnitude of the problem, then you know it's not a situation over which you can afford to be clever or play games. So any games they are trying to play, any being clever would mean you underestimate the gravity of the situation.
You know, there's this video trending of Ruto putting a halt to Harambes, and then he goes
somewhere
to say, leteni be, leteni everything that you need, and then I will sort out.
Because he did not believe in what he was saying. You are coming up with measures, you are taking steps, not because you think they are necessary, because you think they will help you play around with the situation. You cannot. It will not work.
Oh, so there are two
even the bill.
Yeah.
You say you have rejected the bill, but you inject the fuel levy somewhere. You know, it means in the first place you didn't believe in what you are doing. You have to believe in what you are doing. My advice to the advisors of President Ruto and President Ruto himself: sit down with the people who can tell you the truth. The truth is simple. Number one, and I'm repeating, the situation is serious. And you cannot afford to be clever or play games. I want you to allow me to say something about why the situation is serious. The situation is serious not merely because there are Gen Zs in the streets. In fact, that wouldn't worry me. The situation is not serious merely because people are running up and down and shouting, Ruto must go. No. The situation is serious because the country finds itself in a certain state. I don't know what I'm saying. We are like people around a petrol tanker that has overturned and has spilled petrol, not diesel. That's a very dangerous situation to be around. It only requires one idiot to light
a cigarette.
Chasangwani. That's how people died. People are there trying to get petrol from the overturned tanker,
Yes.
and some idiot lights a cigarette. That's where we are. That is why I'm saying this is a serious situation. It's not the demonstrations in the streets. Those we can handle.
Even if you talk about fuel levy, that's like a
yes, we are
matchbox being
joking.
lit.
Yeah. Finally, to show you this thing is serious and why no country should allow itself to have that tension, I want to take you to Tunisia, the Arab Springs. People are not happy with what was going on in Tunisia and other Arab countries, which now led to the Arab Springs, the revolutions and the what have you. What happened in Tunisia, I think Tunis, head office was, people were just unhappy the way we are unhappy, and they were doing all these things we are doing. But one day, these hawkers, these young men selling cigarettes and sweets in the streets, candies and, this small, carrying. And normally they'll be chased by city council
Officers.
askaris or whatever, enforcement officers, what we call here kanjo. So a kanjo gets this boy and slaps the boy. And that kanjo is a woman. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a woman. The woman enforcement officer, the kanjo, slaps the boy because he's selling those things without licenses or in the wrong place. The boy gets so mad, he gets petrol and pours on himself, some sort of fuel. And then he sets himself on fire. And that's how Tunisia almost got burned, the whole country. And that's how the Arab Spring got where it got. And that's the point I'm making. You only need something small and you have the country on fire. Just something
Small.
So every country should do everything, and that's where the intelligence should come in. The intelligence should make the political leadership understand tension in a country is not good. No monarch has been removed from power. No king has been removed from power because people were suffering. People suffer for centuries. But there's always something that happened once. A catalyst or something, an event. Something small that then, pop. Why does it happen like that? Because there are many underlying issues and tensions and anger in the country. No country should allow that. The leadership of a country, with the help of the intelligence, must always have a barometer on the feeling of Kenyans or any country, the citizens. Look at the anger, the levels of anger, and try to mitigate those so that you have some semblance of a normal society. Because in a normal society, it doesn't mean there are no problems. There will be problems. But once it tilts to a certain level, it's no longer normal. And people can do anything.
Because you look at this Mukuru thing, they're blaming it on government. It could have happened even without the finance bill.
Yes.
But now it seems like it's the government.
It could be a very
They have
normal, it
brought
could be a cult.
suspect who has
But now, you see, do you know, nobody believes what the government is saying.
Yeah.
Does anybody believe what the DCI has said?
Sadly. No
But
one
it could be
believes.
true. It could be true. We have had similar incidents. We have had worse. Shakahola. But is anybody believing this?
No one. Everyone is thinking.
Nobody believes.
How can you confess Araka?
Yeah.
How could this have happened without NIS knowing?
Why? We are in a certain state as a country where government cannot be believed.
Is this where it gets the end? Is this the end of Ruto's regime where no one believes him? Can he come out of it?
He can.
And even if you tell me that, is he up to task in dealing with this situation?
The Ruto can come out of this. To me, if you ask me, as a person who understands this country and the politics of this country, and I hope NIS, they should listen to me. According to me, this is a small matter. It's not difficult. But how you handle it, how we handle it as people, is what will determine whether Ruto survives, whether indeed we survive as a country or not. How we handle it.
It doesn't have to be Ruto surviving.
No. It's about the country. It's not about Ruto. Ruto can go tomorrow, but we are still in problems. In fact, when presidents have resigned, the prime ministers have resigned and left their countries in worse situations. So Ruto is not the issue. Ruto can go and we can manage or we can go down. The important thing is, why should we allow a small issue to get out of hand? This is a small issue. Anybody can sit with me on any forum and I'll debate him and show him conclusively this is a small matter. But small matters can get out of control if we think we can manage them by denial. What we are doing as a people, we are living in denial. And I'm directing this at the leadership of the country. They want to live in denial. Denial will not help you. Accept there is a problem. Fortunately for us, the problem is not so big. We can sort it out. But to deny that there is a problem, or to make worse, to try and think you can be clever and smart and come with the games, you will pay for it. Unfortunately, as you pay for it, a majority of the country will pay for it, which is worse. Which is why I would advocate for anybody engaged in these matters to look at the country beyond. The country should be there whether you are president or not. Because this is your home. This is where your offsprings will live. This is where your grandchildren will live if you are Ruto. You think they will all be lucky like you to be president? You think everybody will be like you to be lucky enough to be your daughter, the daughter of a president? No. Some of your descendants will just be ordinary people. Somewhere in Surugoi, others in Tarbo, where I grew up. Somewhere around Korogosho in Nairobi. But they are your descendants. They are your blood. And I'm not talking of 10 years. I'm talking of 100, 200 years.
You know, you've always been saying we need to get to a place of national dialogue.
Yes.
No one wants to dialogue now.
You see, everything I said.
Everyone is bashing Raila.
I said you can't dialogue. And I gave the steps. I don't know whether there's intelligence in this country. I want to call them out. I can join Gachagua in calling out the intelligence. Why haven't they called me to sit with the president? I have given the steps. First, appreciate there's a problem. Because of that, stop being clever and stop games. Number 3, do certain things, but let them be things you believe in. Not games.
So you might think dissolving cabinet.
No, dissolving people. It's nothing. I tweeted immediately. You dissolve cabinet. You are not telling us when you'll come up with when. It can stay 3 months or 4 months, hoping things will go down. That's being clever, but being clever by half. Being clever by half. You are not clever. The PSS are there. They control everything. They are still intact. And there are things that have been said about those principal secretaries. So you are not doing anything. If you appreciated, stopped being clever, stopped the games, and took steps, made decisions, to call cabinet, send PS home, all of them, because at the end of the day, people are saying there are too many. So let them all go first. Let undersecretaries or their deputies take charge for the time being. Say, put a clear date when you will constitute cabinet. A clear timeline. I will nominate by such and such a date. Parliament has 21 days from then. So we expect to have cabinet by such a time. No, there are no games there. You are being sincere and honest. Send your advisors home. Don't say they'll be reduced by half. Send a number of them, the one people know. Change house leadership. This is not asking for too much. Change the house leadership. Kinosoro, my friend. They should go home, Kinaichungwa. People will see you are serious. You get what I'm saying?
The biggest problem is the president, as much as people don't believe in the president, he doesn't even believe in what he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't. And you see, he has to believe in what he's doing. And then people have to see what he's doing is genuine on his part. Do you know what will follow? The goodwill will just come back automatically. So these intelligence people don't know that the hell. The goodwill is not there. People don't believe anything the president is saying. But if he does this thing Manyora is telling him, those 3-4 steps, he will get back the goodwill of the people. You get it? The confidence levels will go up. You know what happens after that? Now, people sit down and talk. And when people sit down and talk, what we thought was a big problem, it will turn out to be a very small problem. Even the Gen Zs will have no interest in being part of the talks. No. Yeah. In fact, these young men do not want anything to do with power.
Yes.
Even this Ruto must go is just coined by, it's not, Ruto must go is not something of substance that he must go. It is synonymous with the bad things that Kenyans want out of the way. Honestly speaking, if you are to engage a Kenyan who is saying Ruto must go, inside them they don't mean and they don't believe that Ruto must leave State House. No, they just mean the bad things must be dealt with, and the Ruto is the president. You get it? So there's nothing like the Gen Zs are not talking about power. They are not foolish enough to think they can get power. No, they just want their fathers and their mothers, the elders, to do things right. When they are satisfied, things are beginning to go in the right direction, we shall continue being in power. Their time will come.
Well, gotta wrap it up at that so that you can watch this video as soon as it's up. It's Mano Tuesday, Ruto must go. Do you believe Prof is right on this one? Gen Zs don't necessarily want Ruto out. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.